This lesson is focused on how to work with component lists in the service management environment. A service item may consist of several components like raw materials, parts or sub-assemblies. You can set up component lists for service items by creating a component list manually or copying service item components from a bill of material. With the manual process, you create a component list yourself. With copying service item components from a BOM, you need a service item linked to an inventory item with an assembly BOM. You can then copy the service item component list from the BOM with a function, avoiding the manual entry. The manual process to create a new component list or to add new components or to change existing components from a service item component list is quite straightforward. The first thing we have to do is look for the service item list. So let's click on search and then type in service item and then select the service item list here. Of course, if we want to change things, we need to take a service item in the edit mode. Then we end up on the cart page of a service item. And here you see service item components. It says yes, you can click here to view the components, or you can go to the ribbon and click there on components. Now you can add or remove components here from the list like you wish. The components are typically items, but they can be service items as well. Now let's create a service item, a new service item with a service item component list, but instead of creating that component list manually, let's copy it from an existing bill of material. Now first of all, then we need to have a look at inventory items. Of course, if you speak about an existing bill of materials, we need to check for an inventory item that we will link to in our service item. And here I have a number of inventory items where that assembly BOM is put to yes. So for instance, if we sort here, you see assembly BOM is put to yes. And let's create now a new service item that is linked to one of these inventory items. So I'm going to create a new service item, 56. I will call it component service item, and I will link it to this item which has a component list. Now if I'm going to look now in the service item 56 and if I'm going to check for components, you will see that there are no components in here. But if I click on navigate, you will see that there is a function which is called copy from BOM, and if I do that, then you see I get two items here as the component list for this service item. So I get a whiteboard based and I get a kind of paint which is in the component list now of this service item. And these components are picked up from this item 9072W, which is a whiteboard. Now what if we sell an inventory item that has a component list and which is linked to a service item group with create service item checkmarked? If you post a shipment for that kind of inventory item, a service item will be created automatically. But will it also have components? Let's check. Now to test this, I have created a new sales order for the company, the Canon Group. And on this sales order, I have entered the dishwasher. So we're going to try and ship a dishwasher to the Canon Group. Now, what do we know from the dishwasher? First of all, we know that it is connected to a service item group where that create service item has been checkmarked. And secondly, when we check item 70,062, the dishwasher, you will see that it has a assembly BOM. So let's double check that. So let's click view and then the cart page will open, and here you see assembly BOM is set to yes. So if I click on that, you will see that it exists out of two components. So let's move back and let's try to ship this sales order. So I click on ship, I click on OK, and then I scroll a little bit to the right, and what you will see is that quantity shipped is 1. So what we're going to do now is check whether or not a service item has been created, and secondly, if this service item is populated with components. To check this, I go to service items, the overview of all the service items, and I'm going to look for my dishwasher. And as you can see, I have multiple dishwasher, but this dishwasher here, the latest one, is the result of our latest creation of a service item. So I'm going to open up this one and have a look here. So you see that this is the dishwasher, which belongs now to the Canon group. It was installed on the work date. And when we check the components, you will see that no component list has been created. So this means when you ship an inventory item, which is linked to a service item group where create service item has been set to yes, and when you ship that inventory item, then a service item will be created, but the component list will not be created automatically. So that means that you will still have to click on navigate, and you will still need to click on copy from BOM. If I do that, I get now one of the components of the assembly BOM. As you remember, for this dishwasher, I had 2 components in the assembly BOM, but only one had a quantity of 1, and that's the reason why I only get 1 item in here. So if I would have created a component list where the quantity was set to 1 for both components, then of course I would have had here 2 components.